Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back if you just came from the round 14 video. But here I have the tie breaks. I'm going to do all 4 of them at once. And these are the tie breaks that resulted from the final score of the classical being 7-7. So without further ado, let me jump in. This was rapid time control, so it wasn't classical, so a lot less time for each player. And then game 1, Ding had the white pieces, so of course we see him with d4. Knight f6, knight f3, we get d5, c3, so a little bit different setup from what he was typically doing when he was, playing the classical game, so it's a little different. You don't have as much time when you're playing black to kind of sort out the differences, so it's good to throw in a few tricks here and there. But we got a couple positional moves. Ding is up a pawn for now, yeah, but this isn't a pawn that's easy to hang on to. And if you devote too many resources trying to save this pawn, you end up just getting worse position. But for a little bit, Ding will humor that he could hold on to that pawn. I'm just going to go through the moves pretty quickly, but everything seems pretty normal so far. If anything, I'd say I like what Black's been doing because he's taken a lot of space here in the middle, so that Ding is kind of forced to make a lot of moves back. He threatens the knight when his bishop is threatened. We see a capture both sides, and another capture right there. Ding reclaims his pawn advantage, and he's actually done a really good job holding on to it. I thought that he would have lost it by now, but oh, there he goes. Again, threat levels. Sorry, not threat levels, but I don't know what the right term is, but attacking another piece when yours is attacked. I guess defense by attack is what you would call it. I don't know if that's an actual term or not. We get an exchange right here. The knight moves back, and now Ding grabs his pawn advantage again, and now he loses it again. Pretty good position here, I will say now from Ding. He managed to clean up a lot of the clutter. You saw that Yen actually had a lot of control in the center, but it's already kind of gone. So yeah, that's a really good job there by Ding. Obviously the knight can't stay there forever. There's no outpost. And now it's actually in a bit of a scary position where it's just being kind of defended by the bishop, not by a pawn. And now it finds its outpost. And Ian does not have a dark square bishop to get rid of it, so it will remain there for a little bit of time unless a exchange sack wants to be made. Rook to b1, we get knight coming to e5, e4, b6, and the computer actually says that this is a brilliant move for black. Wow, I wonder. Yep, they say that's the only move in the position that works. b6. We get 2 captures. The knight comes back to, to b5. But as you can see, the eval bar actually favors black right now. So we see the exchange of queens. We see the bishops trying to come off. That way this pawn will be a lot more vulnerable than it is. We see the exchange happen. King comes up to g2. Rook drops back. Rook pins this knight to the rook. Looks like Ian does not necessarily care. He just goes to d1. We get the knight coming to d5 now. And the rooks double up. And this is actually quite a mate threat, so you obviously have to deal with it. I wonder if we'll see... No, because f4 doesn't work. Maybe we'll see g4. g4 might be played. No, we'll actually see a check. Now that I'm confused about, what happens if he goes here? Rook takes e5. Oh, I see. Okay, you're just getting an exchange of everything there. But anyway, let me go back to our position. Now the knight is still taken. Check, drops, check. And they actually agree to the draw just like that in game 1. And I actually don't know who that draw was better for. I mean, the computer does show it's equal, but oftentimes, actually playing the position and what the computer shows is not necessarily the same thing. But in this case, I would say that even from a human perspective, I mean, This pawn is kind of on the flank, so it's never going to do anything. Not to mention it's going to come into contact with this b6 pawn. I would say that the dark square king, or sorry, the black king is actually slightly safer than the white king. I mean, both of them are relatively safe. There's no mate to be found there. But yeah, I mean, it just looks like an even position. I don't know what the time situation was like in this game, but there's still 3 more to play. So, I mean, Nepo's definitely happy with a draw. First game is black. And then Ding, first game is first game, right? You get the nerves out of the way. You get adjusted to the new time format. I'd say everyone's pretty happy with a draw for the first game just to get warmed up. So now hop into the second game. And now Ian has the white pieces. Of course, we don't see him play d4. See the normal stuff. You guys have seen this tons of times. So I'm just going to skip through most of this. Again, just like previously, Ding does have an extra pawn for now, but as you saw in the other game, it's not like that pawn advantage lasted the whole game. It may not have been this exact pawn that was the difference, but as situations change, pawns came off the board. Because of the tempo advantage that you gain, this pawn advantage is never concrete. In this case, it literally lasted like a turn. Get some shuffling of pieces. Some exchanges occur. Some more exchanges occur. And pawns come off. And yeah, this looks like a pretty equal position. Ding is up a pawn for now, but as you can see, this is hanging. But he doesn't go for it just yet. First he attacks the rook. Rook has to move out of the way. Now he'll grab it. Knight's going to come over to d3. Rook's going to come to g5. But I don't think there's ever really a threat there. Reason behind this rook coming over to f4 is just because otherwise you get this knight check and you can't capture, so you just win the exchange. Some more maneuvering. Whoa, that was actually somewhat interesting. Let's see, where were we? Yep, so we get check right here. So he drops the pawn, or the knight, for the other knight, and the damage is slightly structured. Or slightly damaged, sorry. Now we see the exchange, and unfortunately there's not enough pieces on the board to punish this double pawn. Double pawns kind of are funny, because when you have them at the beginning of the game, they're kind of not really a weakness just yet. And then, they develop into a weakness in like the middle game if you don't, either protect them or put them to good use. And then when you get to the really, really late game, like in this situation, not in all situations, sometimes they do suck. But in some situations, it just doesn't matter again. And in this case, the way that you would get a pawn break if you're playing white is against these 2 double pawns. So it's just not going to happen. So this is a very drawish position. We get some shuffling, and that is the draw right there. So 2 draws so far out of the first 2 games, and there's 2 more to go. So now Ding is back onto the white pieces. And we actually see the ready out of him. We get a very quick kingside castle, as quick as they do them. Get some pawn exchanges. This bishop, particularly strong on this diagonal. Yeah, here you have to trade them off though. And all the pieces are equal, but if you notice, we now have 1 set of double pawns and an exposed king. But there is still a bishop that's protecting this. However, you may also notice that this bishop has not yet developed, and when it develops, this pawn will drop with no immediate threat to recapture. So still pretty even on both sides. Yep, rook has to, of course, defend that pawn. I don't think it wants to live on b8, but it has no choice right now. We see an exchange, we see a threaten, see more exchanges. The pawn is finally grabbed, but will it be enough? Just gonna go through these moves quickly, and we got another draw. Actually, that one was faster than most. That was only 33 moves, and we got a draw there. So not that much time at all. Which leads us to the final game in the tiebreak, with Ding now being out with the black pieces and Ian having white. And we see this normal opening again. Normal stuff everywhere. Again, you see this pawn taken for a brief moment. Now it's gone. Slightly different moves that are occurring now, so we did jump into some sidelines. And I actually don't know that I like this for white, because this bishop is completely useless. It's trapped this way. You have to move literally, what, 1, 2, 3 pieces for it to get out this way. Or for it to get out this way, you need to move this pawn, which is obstructed by another pawn. Or you just have to kind of, dance all the way around the board, which does not seem like an easy task. And all the while that this bishop is doing nothing, this rook is stuck and cannot go anywhere. Yep, so we see that maneuver starting to occur. It takes some time, but finally he gets rid of the bishop. And what he kind of lost out on in response, he is still winning, the computer likes his position, but what he lost out of that is the queen is now fairly well placed. The bishop has a fairly decent diagonal. All of these pieces seem to be protected. Rooks are on good files. And we see some exchanges occur. Alright, we're just going to get a bunch of more random moves. You see the eval bar is now closer to 0. That's because now that the pieces are off the board, these positional weaknesses and strengths that were present beforehand, there's no longer the right pieces to punish them. Ding does go up a pawn for the time being. And he threatens, the queen right here. Obviously he had to move the rook first, because otherwise you just get capture, and the rook hangs. So rook moves, queen comes to d7. I was actually thinking that we would see something like a bishop to d2, but instead we see this. Actually, what is wrong with this move? Rook, queen d4. Wait, what? What am I missing with this move? Queen takes f2 check. Oh, okay. So we'll just have repetition here, is what it would be. I didn't see that. So that's another possible draw. Queen comes to e2. We get the queen coming to d5, and we see this potential perpetual that can occur. And Ding actually chooses to go rook g6, and this actually self-pins your rook, right? So now this rook cannot move. Kind of dangerous, you can provoke an attack on it. But he chose to go rook g6 because he did not want a draw to occur. He would rather end this, tie break within the rapid, win or lose it seems with this move. Very ballsy to do, but that's the choice he made, and now, we don't have a draw just yet, the game plays on. So, Ian goes queen to f5. We see c4 occur, and now we see the strength of the pawns that are running. We see h4, like I said, this threat might occur. And the queen comes over to d3. And all of a sudden, black is actually winning this game. This move no longer occurs because your queen hangs. If you take the queen, recaptures, all of a sudden you have 2 running past pawns, and this rook is now free to defend the both of them. So this is all of a sudden very, very, very bad for Nepo. He drops his queen down to f3 because he obviously does not want that trade, but now he's going to start getting threatened. Queen's going to come g4. We're going to get a push, c3. Rook comes to d1. Queen offers another trade. Queen goes to c8, and this is all of a sudden looking pretty bad for white. We see an exchange, a check, another block. Ian would love to find a perpetual right about now, because that is particularly scary. He threatens this right here, but if you were to trade this all out, there's no stopping this run. Queen comes over to c7. And Queen g6, and the game is pretty much over. I was just reading what they said over here. There was no resignation left. They're just saying that the pawns are unstoppable at this point. There's no more counterplay. And the reason why it's not showing like -50 or whatever is because the difference in material in this game is only going to be, you know, like a bishop sacking itself to get a pawn to stop the push. And that in of itself isn't like a -20 score report. Obviously, it's completely won or lost at this level, but that's why it's not going to reflect that by the engine. Pawn is going to push to c2. Bishop's going to try preventing that. We're going to get the other bishop coming over to d6. King moves over to g2, getting out of the way of that pin. Then we see h5. King comes to f1. And now things look very, very scary. Bishop is going to come to e5, making sure that this pawn can promote. We're going to see g4, some last second attempts from Nepo. We're going to get captures, he's going to push, he's going to ignore. We're going to get queen to d5. We're going to see g3. He's going to push, but you could just ignore that and just push the pawns. So queen took this pawn, bishop took on f4, and that was the end of the game. This pawn is going to promote no matter what. You could drop your bishop back, and then, you know, you have discovery check. If you take, you have check, and then this is still promoting, so there's really no way to stop this. So, after a long series, you know, that went the full distance, we went all classical, and we had to go to the last of the rapid games. I think the only thing we didn't get to see was blitz games being played. But it seems that we have a winner. And the winner is Liren of China. He was never really winning in this match. Not this game, but this match. I think every time it was either a tie or Ian was ahead by a point. So, you know, it's pretty amazing that he was able to claw his way back from never winning to winning at the very end. But that's the only thing that also matters. So it did seem like Ian kind of cracked under pressure the last few days. Just how, you know, Liren had his kind of breakdown where he wasn't able to move in time. Ian had his own breakdown where he was making like poor moves where he had enough time to think out better ones, you know, during the classical portion of the series. I think he kind of played decently here in the Rapid, but Nepo was not the one who came out stronger. But yeah, that is it. That is the series. We have a new world champion. Magnus is, I don't know if dethroned is the right word, because he wasn't dethroned. He, if anything, dethroned himself. But anyway, we have a new world champion for chess. I'm excited to see if this means that more people will try going for the title, because while Ding was very strong, I think that, you know, he kind of showed that anyone within the top 10 can probably contest him for that title now. So in 2 years' time, when the competition happens again, hopefully we can see, you know, a lot of competitors really striving for the World Championship. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed the series. I hope you guys enjoyed the World Championship. And if you want any more content, just browse the channel, you know, see what you may like. I got, you know, speed runs. I got speed runs. I've got a lot of tactic type stuff if you're looking to learn how to do that. I've got some positional studies that are there. We got some duck chess, some other random fun stuff. But yeah, that's the end of the series. Really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time.